Greetings nerdy list aficionados and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. Today we're chatting Joker and origins, two words that for some don't go together. But despite the accepted creed being that the Joker is an unreliable narrator, he's had a decent amount of origins, some more celebrated and remembered than others. We're gonna take a look at a bunch here today. I'm Sasha and these are the top 10 Joker origin stories. Let's get started. Number 10. Batman 1989. Batman 1989 is an important moment in Batman history. A history of years of campy Silver Age Batman. It showed the world that you could have a more serious Batman. Yes, at the time, this was considered a more serious Batman. So in it we had Batman going up against his arch nemesis, the Joker. But this Joker had a complete origin that was shown in this movie, and a name. So in this film he's Jack Napier, who is second in command to a mob boss but having an affair with his girl, which is always a big no-no. So he gets a quick dip into a vat of acid when a plan to have him killed goes awry, and Batman is just a little too slow to save him. This transforms him into the Joker and gives us the famous "Give me a mirror" scene. Revenge on Gotham City, takes control of the mob and starts killing people with Smilex. And there's a really horrible, in my opinion, bit of canon added where the Joker was the criminal who killed his parents. Killed Batman's parents, that is. Just cuz. Take that, Joe Chill / Court of Owls, depending upon when it is. Number 9. Gotham. Let's just put Gotham on here now. So Gotham was a pre-Batman series, so like a series before Bruce was Batman, that proceeded to introduce every single villain pretty much, giving us their answer to whether Batman caused supervillains to appear in Gotham. Hard no in the Gothamverse. So what was interesting about this is that what the show's canon was going to be changed over time. So in season 1 we were introduced to Jerome Valeska, who wasn't the Joker because of copyright reasons. He was instead supposed to be an inspiration for the Joker. He was a circus kid who killed his abusive parents. He would then proceed to do many Joker things, like killing Sarah Essen, but they would still insist he's not the Joker. His laugh was supposed to herald the coming of the Joker, while most fans were just like, so he's the Joker. Then it got even messier. They brought Jerome back to life and then introduced his twin brother, Jeremiah. Then Jerome would die again.
Do you think I used to be the handsome one, right? How'd you find your way through the maze? Oh, bro. We might not look the same anymore, but we still think the same. Plus, he used to draw those stupid things all the time as a kid.
Jeremiah was a civil engineer who was sprayed with his brother's chemical, hence the beginning of his transformation. So these are proto-Jokers, but we would get performances and looks and actions that are reminiscent of the Joker across all the eras. But the showrunners say that what's exciting is that they're not the Joker. Look, if it looks like the Joker, laughs like the Joker, it's the Joker. Number 8. The Killing Joke. So this is a comic written by Alan Moore, a one-shot graphic novel with nebulous ties to continuity, written in 1988. This story would feature extensive flashbacks to the Joker's origin, and present him with a tragic backstory, that of a failed comedian just trying to get by and not making ends meet. So he turned to crime to support his wife and unborn child, only for him to get that organized and then for his wife and unborn child to die due to a faulty bottle warmer. But he can't get out of the caper, and he's put under the Red Hood, a mask he can barely see through, and when the confrontation begins with Batman he falls right into that vat of chemicals, and emerges the Joker. Batman is unaware of the monster he has killed of one bad day, which increases their parallel. This one comes up the most when people think of the backstory for the Joker, but it's not the origin of the Red Hood. Number 7. Detective Comics number 168. This is the man behind the Red Hood, and it's the first Joker origin story. In it, Batman and Robin are trying to solve the mystery of whatever happened to the master criminal, the Red Hood, who they had been pursuing, who had then jumped into a vat of chemicals to escape them. That's desperate. After the case is reopened by University, the Red Hood comes out of retirement, and eventually it is revealed that the Joker was the Red Hood. He was a lab tech who was tired of the daily grind, so he decided to steal $1 million and retire. This was 1951, go with the amount. However, after he dove into the vat of chemicals and came out changed, he realized his new appearance was horrifying, and he could become a master criminal. So he went with it, when life gives you lemons. Number 6. Batman number 450. This story is from 1990 and is called Wildcard, and is notable as it is one of those canon stories that acknowledges the Killing Joke as Joker's origin, something that certain stories would do while others wouldn't. The status that story occupies is interesting. It's almost like some people felt it was too good not to be canon. The way this story acknowledges it is pretty hardcore. Commissioner Gordon has a full-on breakdown when he learns that the Joker is on the loose. This because of his torture in the Killing Joke as well as what happened to Barbara. This story is actually interesting and involves an imposter Joker and bad jokes, intentional intentional bad ones at that. It even gets the Joker to have one of those life is horrible laughs, you know, his favorite kind. Number 5. Pushback. This tale comes from Batman Gotham Knights, a monthly series that ran from 2000 to 2006 about the exploits of the Bat family and the extended Bat family. It had 74 issues. This is where War Games comes from, and also Bruce Wayne, Fugitive. Pushback would take the framework of the pre-established Killing Joke canon and tweak and expand upon it. Now, instead of dying an ironic death, the Joker's wife was killed by a mob boss. This was an interesting one, and it seemed like it was a way to make him more sympathetic. Is your wife being murdered by the mob relatable? I don't know. Number 4. 0 Year. This was a year-long event from 2013 to 2014 during the New 52 continuity. The story was meant to redefine the origin of Batman, and so by proxy it tweaked some of his villains as well. You know, taking maximum advantage of that soft reboot. This origin would take us back to Detective Comics number 168 with a twist. So here it was said that pre-disfigurement, the Joker ran a gang of Red Hoods, a whole Red Hood gang. All these people running around in this really inconvenient, cumbersome mask. The Killing Joke established these had poor visibility, and I believe it just by looking at them. So why would you have a whole gang? They'd be taken out so easily, even by cops, even before Batman. Number 3. Batman Confidential issues 7 to 12. So Batman Confidential. This was a series with rotating writers and artists who would be depicting adventures of an early, younger Batman. In issues 7 to 12, we're back to the name Jack, which was first used in the story Payback, which was part of the Pushback arc. He's too good. Life is too easy. What's a criminal to do? In this, Batman gives Joker the grin that splits his face after Jack escalates his crimes and he hurts one of Bruce's love interests. So he takes a batarang and ends up slashing his face, a disfigurement that Jack finds he likes, stating it feels nice to feel something. He's later taken to a chemical plant by some mobsters and dropped into an empty vat, a fall he's disappointed to have survived. And then the goons aim a bullet at him, but miss and hit a vat of antipsychotics, which cover him. They're liquid antipsychotics. His last thought is that he wishes he could see Batman again. He's flushed down the drain, surviving, now with his traditional clown-like appearance. He changes his name to the Joker and begins his reign of terror over Gotham. This one didn't really take off, and in fact is often forgotten. Even Batman Confidential is often forgotten, which is too bad. It actually has a really good Riddler story, A New Dawn, issues 26 to 28? Yeah, I remember. Number 2. Telltale. This origin comes to us from the Batman Telltale games. Now this is a game series where you play as a young Bruce Wayne, and an up-and-coming Batman, but mostly as Bruce Wayne, which is unique since it focuses on Bruce and rejects the whole he is only Batman and Bruce is the mask, instead seeking a balance. So the series is littered with emerging villains, and you chart the course of how things turn out, well, within a kind of parameter. The Joker in this series is John Doe, who depending upon your actions will either become the Joker or something different. You first meet him as a patient in Arkham, but he really comes to the fore in the second Telltale game, Batman: The Enemy Within. The game starts off with him discharged for good behavior, but he's made some friends who turn out to be a criminal group. This series is unique, and the characterizations are interesting. This one is a fan fave for people who like shipping the two as well, and your choices really impact the relationship, and people like that.
John Doe is dead. There's only Joker now.
You led John Doe to believe you were his friend. Turning against him on the bridge pushed him to become Joker. Sometimes it's as if Batman creates the evil he means to destroy.
It also gives Harley a lot of agency. It's just interesting. That's my word of the video. A more sweet Joker, kind of a lost soul. Who is he? No one knows. Which brings us to number 1. Number 1. No origin. So one of the things a company that has been going for as long as DC Comics has to deal with is how do you reconcile all these different origins, these histories? Well, with a character like the Joker, the idea is that he's an unreliable narrator, so he doesn't know himself. This allows all these histories to coexist without rubbing off against each other, because sometimes fans will battle over origins and who is right to the death, or you know, at least until you're not talking anymore, which is always sad news bears. The Joker is a hard character to reconcile because he's had so many versions, having been around since the Golden Age. He's the first villain Batman faces in his solo comic all the way back in 1940 in Batman number 1. There is an idea that the Joker's origin is multiple choice, and that is the best way to have him, that no one knows who he is. A good contrast to Batman, whose origin is such an integral part of him. It makes them even more opposite. I'm a fan of him having no origin, but what about you? Share your thoughts down below, and if you have a favorite origin, what is it? I'm Sasha, and thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.